The Toronto Blue Jays just finished an extremely disappointing season, finishing 74 and 88 after back-to-back postseason appearances in 2022 and 2023. With big name stars like Bichette and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. set to hit free agency in 2025, it seems like the last ride for this era of the Toronto Blue Jays, and it's only fitting we go all out to ensure the Blue Jays went down fighting. This makes the eighth rebuild of my Rebuilding October series, which is where I rebuild a new team every day across the month of October. So whether you're looking for your favorite team or want to see how every team should approach the offseason, I've got you covered. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get the Blue Jays back to the postseason. Part of what makes this Blue Jays team so exciting is not only the star power combo of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Bichette, but also the plethora of sneaky good infield talent and the starting pitching tandem of Kevin Gausman and Jose Barrios. The pieces are definitely there for the Blue Jays team, and it's all a matter of finding the right supporting cast to build around the talent already in place. Part of the roster construction has to start with the pieces leaving the roster, and luckily for the Blue Jays, the only impending free agent is Ryan Yarbrough. Yarbrough has found a nice role in this bullpen throughout the year as a long reliever, pitching to the tune of a 3.19 ERA across 98.2 innings pitched. This is someone the Blue Jays should look to keep around, especially considering the team's poor bullpen performance and his ability to make a spot start if necessary. Staying on the internal side of things, the Blue Jays have a list of exciting prospects that could make their impact on the major league roster if given the right situation. The highest rated of the bunch is Elvis Martinez, an infield prospect who has a big time bat. Throughout his minor league tenure, Martinez's bat has stayed his consistent calling card, routinely putting up plus numbers, particularly in the power department. Martinez actually made a brief appearance in the majors before getting busted for PEDs and getting suspended for 80 games. It's always hard to tell how much of an impact that had, but assuming it won't, Martinez should be a big contributor for this Blue Jays squad in 2025. Another name that can make his presence felt throughout the year is Jake Bloss, who the Blue Jays got in return for the Yusei Kikuchi trade. Bloss has had a brief tenure in the majors for the Astros, but was sent back down to the minors after struggling heavily. Through three starts, he had a 6.94 ERA while giving up over 12 hits per 9 innings. It was a far cry from the former exciting prospect that we all knew, but there's always hope that if Bloss can regain that form, he'll be on his way to the major league roster. Another name to consider is Adam Macko, who finished the year in AAA. Macko is a prospect with big time stuff with a plus fastball, curveball, and slider, but has struggled with control throughout his career in the minors. He has struggled with injuries, but when the southpaw is on, he can be a really exciting prospect for the future, especially considering the background this guy has from being born in Slovakia, moving to Ireland, and eventually playing baseball in Alberta, Canada. Just a really cool story from Mako, who hopefully get a shot at the majors at some point. And finally, we have Josh Kasevich, a shortstop prospect currently sat at AAA. Kasevich is a defense-first shortstop with an average bat. He isn't high enough of a prospect to really hold a spot for on this major league roster, especially considering the infield talent that the Blue Jays already have at the major league level. Free agent adds, there are a couple important caveats, but to start out, the Blue Jays will grab JD Martinez to help versus lefties. This will create an interesting dynamic because he will essentially be platooning with Spencer Horwitz, who'll be playing at first versus righties, with Guerrero Jr. at DH. Then versus lefties, Guerrero will slide out to first base and Martinez into DH, and Horwitz will be shifted to the bench. Martinez throughout his career has crushed lefties, and Horwitz plays pretty good against righties. Joining the rotation would be Freddy Peralta, who continues to put up really solid numbers for the Brewers. Over the course of 2024, Peralta had a 3.68 ERA while striking out over 10.4 batters per 9 innings while walking 3.5. Peralta has been incredibly consistent and would be able to provide some stability to the Blue Jays rotation down the line behind Barrios and Gausman. And then to help fix the bullpen, the team would add a pair of NL Central relievers, the first of which is Buck Farmer from the Reds. Farmer has quietly posted a 3.68 ERA over the past 3 seasons for the Reds, while striking out 9 batters per 9 innings and managing to keep the home runs down, even in Great American Ballpark. The second reliever from the NL Central added to the bullpen being Andrew Kittredge from the St. Louis Cardinals. Once again, a very underrated reliever who would add great depth to this bullpen, which is desperately in need of it. Since 2020, Kittredge has very quietly posted a 2.47 ERA over the course of 182 innings pitched. The combination of the two, plus hopefully a fully healthy Jordan Romano and Chad Green, would form a really scary back end of the bullpen. That would bring the final roster to Alejandro Kirk at catcher, Spencer Horwitz making the start at first base, obviously in platoon as previously mentioned, Will Wagner, who looked incredible in limited time at second, Bo Bichette at short, who you would need to see a bounce back season from, or Elvis Martinez at third, with George Springer getting moved to left field just due to his rather poor defensive play and lack of a strong arm at this point in his career. Dalton Varsho in center and Addison Berger making the move to right field, with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. being the DH. Tyler Heineman would fill the backup catcher role. Ernie Clement would be the sickest backup infielder ever. Joey Liperfito would fill the fourth outfield spot. And obviously, JD Martinez would fill the void as the last positional player on the roster. Gosman and Barrios would headline the roster, with Peralta filling an important role as a third starter, with Chris Bassett and Bowden Francis as a fifth starter, who was actually pretty solid last season. Would this team be heavy favorites in the American League East? No, but this team would have the potential to pop off in 2025. The team would require internal development as well as bounce back seasons, but this team would have the pieces to put something special together in 2025. The team has the talent, it would just require the pieces falling into the right place.